to my channel, Knitting Books, etc. My name is Cristina and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. And today is the 14th of March 2025. So I'm here in what I hope will be a more regular episode. I'd like to try to make one every week, especially because I want it to be more motivated to work on. I don't know how many projects I have on my needles, hooks, etc. Also with my reading, because it's been a long time since I read with some regularity, which is strange for me because I am normally always reading. So I thought that perhaps with this motivation of doing more regular podcasts, I would work at a more regular pace. I'm going to show you the most recent finished objects, especially in the amigurumi realm, because I've been bitten again by the amigurumi bug. So I want to make them all, as you know. And recently I filmed another amigurumi book tag episode. I have many amigurumi books. Actually, I was looking at I have, as I mentioned before, a database where I put my books, especially my craft books, and I have, as of today, here at my home, I have 123 amigurumi books. But I never told you that I have many other craft books. For example, knitting, I have 374. I'm sorry. So, and all these are growing. I have here crochet, not that are non-amigurumi. I have only 23 because I am mainly a knitter, but I haven't been doing anything. I have a pile of bags on my craft room floor at this moment, and they are there because I want to inspect each of the bags, and I think I'm going to discard some of the projects. I had done already kind of a cull of all my whips I had, and at the time I found out that I had 115 or something like that. Yes, I think it was 115, and I almost cut it in half, and I unraveled or frogged every half of those projects. But then I finished some, and I started some. I need to look at that pile, which are, I call it my whip island, because they are all on the floor there, and I need to start working on the ones I want to keep. I think that if I keep more regular videos, maybe I will work more regularly on these things. Also with my reading, if I talk a little bit more about the books I'm reading, perhaps I will feel more motivated to read on. So regarding knitting, I finished, I don't know if I showed this before because I can't remember, but I recently worked on socks, and I finished 3 pairs. Two are not for me, they are to give away because although I like to work with this type of, this is a sock yarn, which was hand dyed by a friend of mine. She has a small company called Pontinhos ao Vento, which is where she hand dyes her yarn, and I cannot wear sock yarn because it has 25% of nylon, and I am allergic to it, so I have skin problems. I cannot remember the name of those, not even in Portuguese. Eczema, and there's another name for that. Anyway, I cannot wear. I could actually sometimes even only touching acrylic yarns, polyamide, nylon, and other types of yarns. It makes my skin burn, itch, etc. So this is to give away. This is a pattern by Summer Lee. It belongs to the collection she's doing right now, which is Color Cuff Club, where every month she releases 1 or 2 patterns with different cuffs, in colorful cuffs. So I knitted this already some time ago, and these two, okay, these were for Halloween, I remember. So I think it must be the October or September, I don't know. No, October, because she releases her patterns at the first of each month. And again, this one is West Yorkshire Spinners, the solid one, and these are whatever, some bits I had in my stash, and so it's the ghost socks. I call them the boo socks, okay? And for me, I need some socks with a Portuguese yarn called Mondi, which is from Retrosaria Rosa Pomar, and this Mondi yarn is from Portuguese sheep, and it's 100% wool, so and it's non-superwash wool, so no chemicals, nothing, except for the ink, the dye, which I don't know what type of dye they use, but I can wear this. The only problem is that they will get holes much quicker than the ones with nylon, but I cannot do anything else. So this is not a pattern, this is just a 3x1 rib, and I wanted a longer leg, although it looks long in my legs. It's not very long because I normally say my waist is behind my neck. I have very long legs, and so this doesn't even cover my calves, so it's only for my ankles to get warm. And I started a new pair for me, again the same yarn, Mondi, but in this case it's variegated colorway. I was given this, actually I think I received 2 skeins of this same yarn of same color, one in my last birthday and one in a Christmas swap we had. And I am making the monkey socks, which for me they work as some vanilla socks, but they work much faster because there's a pattern that keeps me it keeps my interest and rhythm, and so I work much faster than if it were just stocking stitch. following my own pattern. I mean, I just use the pattern for the texture here, but then I'm using slip stitch heel, not the heel flap and gusset which the monkey socks ask for. But and I normally work on these very fast. Normally the first sock will take me only 1 day, 2 days max, and then the second sock will take me a little bit more. The problem is that I have stopped and I haven't picked it up for some time because I said I was bitten by the amigurumi bug, and I started working in some picking up my books and started working on some of the patterns there. I normally say, and it's true, I would like to make all the patterns of all my books. This will take me some time, as you may guess, but actually a long time ago I decided that I would pick one book and then choose a pattern, and then pick another and choose a pattern, to have at least one pattern from every book I have, for starters. Then I would go back and choose another and another and another. But I'm not going to be very prescriptive, because sometimes I may want to make some toy from a book from which I have already worked on, and that's how it's going to be. Recently, I think I showed you that first of all, I showed you that I was making a pattern from this book, and it's the zebra, which one of my grandnephews asked for. He wanted a zebra. I started many because I wasn't undecided about the pattern I wanted to use, but now I decided that I would make this one. The problem is that, and this zebra should have been already finished, but I ran out of yarn. More specifically, I ran out of the black yarn. I think because of the mane, it uses more yarn than I thought it would. And although I bought the number of balls in this case, I don't remember. This is the yarn is Snow by Drops, and it's 100% wool yarn. It's quite bulky. I don't remember now what weight, specific weight it is, and I like to work with it, although it made my hands hurt a bit because I had to use a 8mm hook, which is very big for my comfort, if you want. So I need to do 2 more of these for the legs, but I'm waiting for the yarn, and that's how it is. Then I picked up another. I forgot to bring the books here. I only have 2 more here, and I actually worked from several other books. 1 minute. Okay, I have them here. I remember seeing a video from Crystal from Chronically Crocheting about this book that she loves, and I think that actually when she started the tag, Amigurumi book tag, she was prompted by this book, and I bought it when she mentioned it, and it has almost, I think that all the patterns are lovely, and so I decided to make one from this book, and I made the donkey. Here let me show you the pattern from the book. Yeah, here he is. Oh, I forgot his cheeks now that I look at my donkey is cheekless. So here he is, and I only noticed now that I forgot his cheeks. And here he is. And I used, I don't know what type of yarn I used. I think there's, I think that this one here, his skin is, maybe it's drop saffron. This one I know it's rainbow cotton by Hobby 44, so it's fingering weight yarn. And some other, the white is some scraps, I think. I don't know. But here is my donkey. He has a green shirt, not a yellow shirt. I'm sorry, the light is not very good. I don't know how. Here, I don't know. And I'm satisfied with it. Okay, I am still learning how to attach heads and make them stronger and so on. The necks. Oh, here. Gosh, it's too bright. Let me see if I perhaps pull the blinds a bit down to make it better. Perhaps a little bit. So I hope it doesn't turn too dark, but that's how my donkey is. Then I picked up another book, and the story of this book is very me. So Sally from Nanny Moon Crochets made some videos about her going through this book, and she did an amazing job. So these are 26 designs, one per letter of the alphabet, and she made them all. And then when she finished, she said that she was going to start doing the same with another book. And the book she chose was this one, which has 50 easy amigurumi patterns for collective crochet toys. And the base of every pattern is, as the name says, a donut. So it has this round shape which has a donut base and then icing, and then the individual features for each of the 50 different toys. And when she mentions that, I decided, oh, I'm going to participate, and I ordered the book. And then I forgot. If you asked me some time ago, I would say that, well, perhaps she had started this 1 or 2 months ago. I verified now it was in July, I think. So she's been through more than half of the designs. So the other day I decided to pick one. I had some blue yarn, and I went through the book and I found here a design which was mainly blue. not that I always follow the colors of the designs, as you saw with the donkey, but in this case I thought it was appropriate because the colors also talk about the characters. So you have a red fox and I don't know, a black and white cow, etc. So I know it's not at the beginning, it's more at the end. Where is it? So I found this here, the fish, and I picked the fish. I found several problems. It was my first design, so the donut itself went very fast, and well, it was a little bit awkward to fill it in because it's not normally as we do with the other toys. You have a kind of a tube and you have to fill it in. That went okay. Its face, if you want, it went okay too, except for the use of the double. I followed what the designer said. So she wanted us to, before I go on, this blue yarn and this blue yarn, the darker one, are Hobby Rainbow 88. So it's more than decay, I think. Decay, perhaps, not aran, decay yarn. And the problem is that here we use 2 decay yarns together. And it was hard on my hands because I was using a 3mm hook. And so it was hard to deal with the. Also, you know, with 2 yarns, sometimes we get a split stitch and so on. Then I started making I was going to say the wings, the fins, and something didn't add up. I even looked on the publisher's site, and they have lots of errata for many books, but not for this one. And I confess that I was too lazy to report this mistake, but the numbers didn't add up. And then I saw that she tells us to make 3 stitches in 1 stitch, so to make 3 stitches out of 1, and that was wrong, because then at the end there was an appendix that, because then she tells us to turn and there were stitches not worked from the foundation chain. So then I thought that no, those 3 stitches, they were to be worked one after the other and not the 3 in the same stitch. So then also several times, because then it happened here too, and I don't know if it happened here, but here, yes, when she tells us to make a chain and then turn and then start on the first stitch of the or on the second stitch, sorry, of the chain, but it didn't add up because we were not working on single crochet or double crochet as per UK terms. We were working the half treble, so several things didn't work. The math didn't work, but after some frogging, I decided to do it as I thought it should be, and it ended up working. And so here is my fish. I still like to work on the project. I thought that another thing, the icing. This icing was quite useless for me, in my opinion, because I don't even. It's here. It's like this. So As you see, you have here this, and then there are some drips, as she calls it. But in many patterns, the icing is in a different color, and that makes more sense. Here, it's the same color, so we can hardly see it. Okay, so it was, in my opinion, a bit useless. Anyway, I still enjoyed making, and I hope that to make some more, perhaps I will catch with some of the designs that Sally picks. Then I got sidetracked from my book making, because I saw a video from a Brazilian channel, and it had the instructions for a doll. And I recently bought a book that, well, I will show you. Okay, I'm going to just fetch the book in a minute. Okay, where is it? I think it's here. Yeah. So this is a Japanese book which is called Doll Knit, and it's full of clothes for dolls. It has some crochet too, and the bags, and I think the hats. Some hats here are made in crochet, but the book is a beautiful book, all full of doll clothes. I was trying to find those hats that I know that are made in crochet. Let me, oh, here one, this hat. And the book is full of wonderful designs, some more elaborate, like color in feral or Nordic style color work, and lots of wonderful designs. So I decided that I wanted a model doll to whom I would knit these clothes. And I actually stumbled. I have, as you know, lots of books. I was going to choose a doll from my books, but I noticed this channel, and she had a tutorial for all-in-one design, meaning the doll starts, I think we start with the legs, but no, actually I'm going to show you. She's poor girl, she's still bald and naked, because I made the doll and then I stopped. I'll show you in a bit. But so there's no sewing here. That's what attracted me. And I also decided to follow the tutorial because I wanted to learn some of the Portuguese terms for crochet, because I don't know them actually. I always learned with English or French or German books or magazines, and I don't know the terms in Portuguese. So I made the doll. It goes very fast. You first make the arms to put them to weight, and then you make the legs. You join the legs. You continue, and here you attach the arms. It's like there's a way of doing some in knitting. Yoke sweaters, where you start like that. You make the arms and the body, 3 tubes, and then you join the 3 tubes, and you start making raglan decreases for the yoke. And that's what we did here. So we did some raglan decreases for the upper part of the body. Then we do the neck, and then we start again increasing and for the head. It was quite easy, and I enjoyed making it. And then I started, well, I actually started and finished her hair, but I had a problem. So this is the hair I'm working on still. And what you see here and more actually was something I had to frog, because after finishing the hair, the hair and starting attaching it, I noticed I had a strand of hair that ended here. And because this is not done one by one, but everything is done at the same time, I had to unravel several strands. And they take some time. They are pretty easy. This is all half treble. But I had to unravel 6 or 7 strands until I reached the one which was, I don't know, 10 stitches, perhaps longer than the others. And but it's fun. And then I actually am very tempted to only have instead of sewing, just attach the hair provisionally, and then I'll make other styles of hair. So this one I decided to make is longer but with some kind of fringe here. And then I also did some double stitches here to make them curl. But I could make then her short blonde hair, straight hair, totally straight, totally curly. One of the strands of her bob here, or fringe, or bangs, I don't know what you call this, is longer, but that's okay. That's how I cut my hair. I also cut my own hair, and I always make it uneven, which I prefer. I don't like very even hair. Anyway, I also going to then make her some, I'm going to draw her just a line for the mouth, and here her also her oh my god, brows. I'm tired. Okay, and that's my doll. Then I picked up a book that I decided I'm going to work from this book. At the time it was the latest Meteor books I had received, and these are plushies, and they are made with chenille yarn. I never liked chenille yarn, but I wanted to try the plushies. I never liked chenille yarn, first because again it's acrylic yarn, 100% polyester in this case, and it's icky. I don't like the texture of this. It's plastic. I don't like plastic for several reasons. The most obvious one is that it's eternal, but I wanted to try, so I had here. This actually makes my nails retract. So it's this is a Portuguese brand, Rosários 4, and this is their chenille yarn, Pata Choca. And this is a color I didn't use yet, so it's 100% polyester. It sheds a lot. I wanted to try, because people say that sometimes it's difficult to work with this yarn and so on and so forth, because you cannot see the stitches. But I think I showed you this already. I made this dolphin. It was very easy to make. I didn't have any problem at all. Then, oops, I made this bee. Again, no problem at all. but can you see, this is my house is full of these things. I hoover my house daily. Still, you can find these things everywhere. Then I started the duck. I find him so cute, but I ran out of yarn. I still have to do his feet in this color, but he needs his tail. So I need to buy one more ball of this or skein of this because of yellow. I didn't want to. I just bought this some skeins to try the yarn, and I didn't intend to go on buying this yarn. I also want to try to make these toys with regular yarn, and for regular I mean wool or cotton. That's what I use. But anyway, here I am. This is the first time I'm using this type of eyes, which I bought at Amazon. So I think they are blue. These ones are blue, and it went pretty fast, I can say that. And the stitches are even, and I didn't have any problem at all working with them. Again, lots of fluff everywhere, but that's how it is. I still want to make some more from this book. So now I'd like to talk a bit about, oh, I forgot to say that the doll, the video was from this company. It's a Brazilian brand, Círculo, of 100% cotton. They have normally their balls of yarn are 125 grams, but they have some packs of 6 with 50 grams of balls. I had some scraps from a ball I had already used, so I knew that I had enough. With 50 grams I had enough to make the doll. And here so I bought this pack of 6. I have here what I had left from the ball I used, and here they have some other colors like black. These are their neutrals, good for skin tones, not the black, but all the others are sorry, I haven't been talking much, and today when I start talking, that's what happens, I start coughing. So it's a good yarn, but a little bit hard on your hands. The hair of the doll, I use this yarn, which is a Portuguese yarn, and it's much softer. I don't think this is mercerized, so it's much more agreeable to work with. And I think that I'm going to start using this yarn more often to make my toys. They have more than 100 different colors, so that's what I'm going to use from now on. And because I'm talking about this yarn, I'm going to show you also a project I have in my hands, which is all made with this yarn, precisely because I don't use acrylic yarn or nylon and so on, artificial fibers. I don't use them, I don't like them, and they are not my friend. So I am making a blanket, which I started last June, and it's a blanket by Jane Crowfoot, so Janie Crow on Instagram and YouTube, and it's the Spirit of Flora blanket. I should have here my phone, but it's not, where I could show you the blanket. I will try to remember to link it in the description box. My machine decided that I was I had been talking for long enough. So the blanket is composed by 48 squares. Um, so 4 squares per pattern. There are 12 different patterns. And Janie released this. First, she released in one of those crochet magazines. I can't remember which one. But then she decided to release 4 patterns in um, three releases. So the first 4 came out in the end of June. Then in August, the following 4, and then I don't know if it was in September, October, I don't remember. As soon as the pattern was released in the end of June, I started making the 4 squares or the 16 squares, because each square we make it 4 times. And I enjoyed it a lot. My colors are a little bit less vibrant than hers because, again, I'm using cotton, and I'm using this cotton by Rosarios 4. And I'm going to show you my squares, what I've made until now. Oh, but then I stopped. So I already have the pattern for the next 4 squares, but I haven't started them yet. I haven't even looked at them. I'm talking about this today because I'm hoping that by telling you that this week I'm going to start looking at one of the squares and making that square, I maybe at least have this in my mind that I want to show on my podcast the next square, and I will work on them. So the first square I worked on is this one. It was a bit boring because you had to do 4 times 4 tiny squares. So you repeated the same thing 16 times, but she is a wonderful designer and she teaches us a lot. First and foremost, there are videos on YouTube for every square. They are very detailed, so if I had any doubts about what I was reading, which sometimes I had, because these are not simple designs, all doubts go away with the videos. Another thing is that she teaches us progressively, so each subsequent square builds on what we learned in the square before. So we started with this one, I think. I know for sure. This one, I know it's the first one. I'm not sure about the order of the others, but anyway, this was the first one, and I made the 4. Then you have here 4 more squares. This one was, I don't know if it was this one. One of the squares was more difficult for me because we had to cast on this outer line, if you want. She calls it something, the frame. So and it's lots of stitches, and I would keep getting it wrong, the number, so I had to recast on several times. And then we work from the frame from the outside to the inside. But this is, I forgot, I don't have here the pattern, so I don't know, but these are all it has these flowers have names or these patterns have names, but I can't remember their names. But again, this is very addictive because we things work. This is the back, I don't know, look at the backs. Things work as magically. Sometimes we have a mess in our hands and we say, how is this going to work? But in the end, they do. And every square is the same size and so on. They are not blocked, okay? Then you have this flower here, which I think is beautiful. And again, I made the 4 squares. I did what she tells us to do, which is work every bit. You see, normally each round is with a color, and then you work with another one, and then another one. And she tells us to work the 4 squares at the same time, meaning you start by doing the inner bit 4 times, and then you move on to the second round, and then the third round, and so on and so forth. And I'm doing that, and it works well because you have it in your memory, in your recent memory. You have the way of doing it, and so it's easier in the end. And finally, this is my favorite square of this group of 4 patterns. I love the colors, I love everything about this one. Again, I wouldn't mind to make a blanket all with this square, for example, which is, I remember that this one is the name of an abbey. I don't remember which one. But again, this was magic because there were, look at the back. I had never worked in the back of a square as we do here, and everything works perfectly. These patterns are amazing, and we learn a lot. So I'm saying here that I'm going to pick up the pattern for the first square of the next group, and I'm also going to make where is it? Yeah, so I got this book very recently. Well, I had the PDF as soon as I pre-ordered the book, because this is a Meteor book. As you know, I love books from this publisher because, first of all, because they do this. When they tell us that a new book is coming, is going to be published, we pre-order the book and immediately we receive the PDF for the book, which I love because I love my books. I love to browse them, to open them, to smell them, to look at the patterns, to look at the pictures, to read them. But I don't like to follow the patterns in the book. First, because some of them, I don't like to break their spines. I'm like that. A little bit OCD with my books. And also because I'm always doing lots of things at the same time. For example, if I'm going away on a weekend, I don't want to carry books with me. So I like to have the patterns I have them in my iPad. I use the Goodreader app, where I can make lots of notes, I can mark where in the pattern I am, and so on. So I love this. And the most recent one that came out is this one here. This is a lovely book. The idea is lovely. You have, they are topsy-turvy, isn't toys. Some of them are questionable, and I say this because look at this. This is the princess and the frog. Well, they cannot talk to each other because the princess, either she is in princess form or she is in frog form, and they never met. they never meet. Well, with the Little Mermaid, I think it's brilliant because she looks a little bit like the position she is like the statue of the mermaid in Copenhagen. But when the mermaid decided to become a girl and have legs, she turns in a very beautiful girl like this one. So the two are never together, so it makes sense. There's another one here, and it's going to be the perhaps one of the, if not the first doll I'm going to make, is this here. This is Cinderella, and sometimes she's in rags, sometimes she's in a very beautiful gown, so they never meet. That's correct, so it's logical. The others, I'm going to show you very quickly which patterns you have here, but some I showed you already, the princess and the frog. It's the frog prince, of course. Then you have, and I am going, before I start with Cinderella, I think I'm going to make one of these. These, I think they are fantastic. They are very beautiful. And it's the flowers. So you have several flowers where you have a flower that becomes a fairy. This is the peony fairy. I don't know how you say this name of this flower. I have no idea of the translation either. So you have here, again, this one is also questionable for me because you have here a witch and a cauldron. So when will the witch work her potions if her cauldron, as you can see, is here, it's her head. But they are fantastic. I think that the patterns are very well done. This one is, I once made an egg with a bird inside, and this is similar, which I think it's funny too. It's a little dragon that after being hatched, he becomes a dragon. Then you have another flower, in this case it's the sunflower fairy. Again, then you have the Cinderella. I think she's brilliant. Oh, and the Cinderella comes with a bonus, which is the prince with the shoe. Then you have the rose fairy, very beautiful rose. Can you see the rose? And then the dress. Lots and lots of pictures for each one. Then you have Goldilocks and bears. Again, this bear will never meet Goldilocks. They can happily share everything because they will never know that she's in their house. I think this is going to be perhaps my first pattern here, because I really think it's the flower is very beautiful. It's the lily fairy. And here you have them. I love the colors. I love the flower. It's very beautiful. And the crown, can you see there? I think it's a very beautiful pattern. Maybe my first one. I know I want to start with a flower, but I think it's this one here. Then you have again the Little Mermaid, which I think it's very well done. And again, the Red Riding Hood and the wolf. They'll never meet in real. So perhaps it's fortunate because he looks a little bit like an angry wolf, and so she would be very scared if she ever found him. Is this? No, there's another fairy. You have the tulip fairy, the last flower here. I love the book. I think it's brilliant, and I want to make a pattern from this book. I forgot to bring another book which I'm working on, which is the Amigurumi Treasures, the first one. Yesterday I started the platypus. It's at the very beginning, so that's okay that I didn't show you, but I would like to finish the hair of the doll, to work on the platypus, and to work on one flower from this book. I would also like, but I don't know if I can finish this duck until then, because I don't know, I haven't ordered the yarn yet, and I don't know when because I want to order other types of other yarns from the same shop, and so I don't know if I'll have, well, at least I can make the feet, and then we'll see. So I'm going to finish here. My throat is very dry. I'm sorry it's too long, but I wanted to update you on what I'm doing, and to see if I can start to be more regular, and of course doing shorter videos. I forgot to mention that I'm also going to talk about the books I'm going to read, and this week I want to finish this one. I started reading it, I read it until this point, and then I stopped. I don't know why, and again I have been in a slump in everything I like. I haven't looked at it. I don't know why. So I'm going to restart, and I want to read this book this week. Now I'm finished. See you next time.